Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal, helps support the show. What's up, Planeswalkers? Theric 6 back with some more Ikoria set review spoilers. This is the last day. It's Friday the 10th for me, which means it's Saturday for you. Shut up. This is how I record. I record a day in advance. Look, I'm not Northern Line. I'm not doing like backlog videos, so at least I'm a little bit more contemporary. Whatever. We're doing things a little bit differently today. This is not alcohol. This is just apple juice. That's good apple juice. So this is the last day of the set spoilers, which means they just dump a bunch of cards on us. However, they did save some interesting cards, finishing cycles and stuff. So I really do appreciate that there's actually something of interest to talk about. However, a lot of these cards are just draft cards. So I'm not going to actually be talking about too many of them. I'll be kind of going through, typically there'll be the topmost row. You'll see how I'm going to do it in just a second. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit faster going through because there are a ton of cards and most of them aren't consequential, let's say. But first I want to talk about Bonder's Enclave. This is a land. You add a colorless mana, or you pay 3 and tap it, draw a card, activate this ability only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. So they've moved from the Naya section of Shards of Lara being 5 power that matters to 4 power. I think that's fine. I will say Mael is a little sad. She gets to use all of the things that care about 4 or more power, but it does mean that they're focusing a little bit less on making sure things have 5 or more power that work with it. So a little frustrating. However, what's really nice about this card is that you can only activate the ability if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. So if you lose the creature and you have no other creatures with power 4 or greater, you still get to draw the card. You just have to have a creature to activate the ability in the first place. So that's cool, I suppose. So this is essentially how I'm going to be doing this. Adaptive Shimmerer, like I said last, I think it might have been last video, there seem to be a lot more colorless cards in the set than I would expect. I think there are 3 of them total. This is the 3rd one. Good old 5-minute 0/0. Insect with Flash, and it ends the battle with 3/1/1 counters on it. I don't know if this is meant to be another like card that you mutate onto, but it's here. I want to talk about this card real quickly, just because it has the Wanderer in the art. That doesn't mean she's getting a card. Wizards has essentially been like, yeah, no, Planeswalkers can be in locations without getting cards or even really talked about. So she apparently showed up for a little bit, killed the monster, and fucking bounced. So that's funny. Card seems like it's actually pretty decent and limited. Let's see, none of those I really cared too much about. Gosh, excuse me. Light of Hope I thought was very interesting because if you look at something like Healing Salve, which I think was part of the initial boon cycle, which included like Ancestral Recall and shit. This you get to choose one instead of just like gaining 3 or preventing the next 3 damage. It's you can gain 4. So Wizards is slowly realizing just how garbage life gain by itself is. Like life gain by itself is not worth much at all. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your life total is if your opponent has lost before you get to 0. It's kind of all that matters. You can also destroy an enchantment or put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Since this is instant, I think it's actually going to see potentially some decent play in Limited. Just because, at the very least, it is a minor combat trick that has extra stuff going for it. I don't think there are a ton of enchantments, though, that matter, so it might not. Might just be kind of more set work. I don't know. I want to talk about Day Squad Marshal, not because of anything in the text, you know. So it's a hill giant. Yeah, this one's a hill giant. 4 mana, 3/3. It enters the battlefield. You make a human. This is 2 humans for 1. That's fine. The real important part is that giant fucking sword. She's wielding a claymore. Let's see. We have some Divine Arrow, which is, you know, this is always decent removal. 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature. Should be fine. It actually might be less great here because this set might just be super duper battle cruiser and your creatures might just be huge. So it's possible this isn't going to matter. Avian Oddity is a really cool, it's the like finish of the cycle to put a blank counter on something. I predicted it was going to be giving flying counters. This is horrifying. You see, essentially it looks like it's a bunch of different types of birds wings here, and then just like a face and a beak. Just like a face and a tiny little beak. This seems fine. In limited. New Anticipate art. Best one, I am HO. You know, we got this is fine. Dragon to Target here is fine. Battle for Zendikar, sure. I think that, yeah. What are... Wait, what was the OG printing? Was this the OG printing? Really? Huh. I did not know that. Still, in my opinion, best art of Anticipate so far. Absolutely love it. We got Narset here. Is that not Narset? Narset has long hair, right? This might not be. I thought in the story that Narset like met up with the Wish person. Now I'm not sure. Regardless, it's great art. Let's see. This thing is very strange. It's a good old-fashioned 2-mana 1/3 flyer, but it has pseudo-vigilance because you can untap it, but you can activate this as many times as you want. So maybe there's a combo with this card somewhere. I don't know what it is. This art is fantastic because it's a weird, like, polar bear mixed with something with spines and horns and a huge, like, penguin beak or something. Very cool. Didn't care about any of those. Convolute's back. Sure. Frostlink's back. Sure. Oh, this I just thought was kind of horrifying and sad. Is an eagle. And little eagle babies. This is another eagle. That turned into a serpent for a little bit. This actually seems relatively bad in the set because of the mutate ability again. It just seems like, typically speaking, because the mutate creatures are going to have, like, the abilities being what matters, I don't know if turning something into a 4/4 is going to matter. I guess maybe you use it more to make your creatures a little bit bigger. But it has cycle, so, you know, that's fine. I should probably just close these. Mythos of Eluna. This is the last of the Mythos cycle that we're missing. It's a 2 blue sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent. Doesn't have to be a permanent you control. Doesn't have to be a creature or planeswalker. It's any permanent. Artifact, land, creature, planeswalker, enchantment. I think technically those are it. If red-green was spent to cast a spell, instead, create a token that's a copy of that permanent, except the token has, when this permanent enters the battlefield, if it's a creature, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So essentially, so for what it's worth, when I first saw this card, I was like, I mean, I don't see how it's very good. Like, you pay red-green, and you just make one of the token creatures fight? Sure. I read this as create a token, a copy of target permanent you control. I didn't realize you could get, oh, I'm going to get this big thing that my opponents control and have it immediately kill. It's essentially potentially a kill spell in most circumstances. If your opponent has one big thing and one big thing but less big than the first thing, you can make a copy of the big thing, kill the less big thing, and now your big thing can rival their big thing. Always nice to have. And of course, in Commander, I'm going to put this in Riku Spell Reflection. And now, am I going to put this in Riku Creature Reflection? Because this copy's permanence, but it is a spell. For what it's worth, you might say, Por qué los dos? Because I try to keep the Creature Reflection deck and the Spell Reflection deck different. But I don't know about this one. It's definitely intriguing. I'm not sure what I want to do with it. I just wanted to talk about this card because it's fucking horrifying. It's a xenomorph with creepily, like, human skin. I don't like, you can see through its fucking mouth because it has holes in its face. I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't want to see, like, I would rather see this in real life than this. And this is a big fucking leech. Okay? Adventures Impulse is back. Corpse Churn is awesome. This isn't a reprint, right? Oh, it is a reprint. Oh, well, that makes me feel stupid. I don't like feeling stupid. Deadweight's back. Kelsien the Plague is in a couple of these black things. Yeah. Flavor text. It's cool. It's cool shit. Dark Bargain's back. Greater Sandworm's back. Mutual Destruction is interesting. This spell has flash as long as you control a permanent with flash. Sure, okay. Additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, destroy a target creature. So it's very similar to, gosh, what is that? Spark Harvest, I think. Yeah, it's very similar to Spark Harvest, except you don't have the option of not sacrificing something. Hunted Nightmare. This is very similar to the other Hunted cycle that is in OG Ravnica, I think. Yeah, so we have things like Hunted Dragon, Hunted Horror. All of these, when they enter the battlefield, you give a boon to one of your opponents. Hunted Nightmare does the same. Target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control. But this has Menace. This is a 3-mana 4/5 with Menace that can give one of your opponent's creatures a death touch counter. That is only usable if, 1, you have creatures that don't have Menace. Who plays those? And 2, they have another creature to block with. However, there are Menace cards in the set that make it so they have to be blocked with 3 creatures. When your opponent blocks, they have to sacrifice one of them. Also, if they don't have a creature, they don't get a death touch counter. So you just have a 3-mana 4/5. As a Grixis control player, I would be scared, but I don't play Standard. Oh yeah! I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm going to play a lot of Standard when this set comes out. This card seems horrifying. It might be. I don't know. Let's see here. Ivy Elemental is a non-Hydra Hydra. Ram Through is just like a better Rabid Bite. This one is 1 in green, same cost, instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. If the creature you control has trample, excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. So I'm just going to go ahead and search up Rabid Bite. There we go. Sorcery, same cost. Same rarity. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. I wonder if one of these is just better. It is. This one. It's this one. For what it's worth, there might be situations in which you don't want to deal damage to your opponent as a green deck that's running this type of removal. My suspicion is that's not going to be often, so this is going to be probably pretty decent in mono green in Historic. Whisper Squad is really cool because you get to get more Whisper Squads and put them into play tap. The only issue is that like you can only play a limited number of these, and they are just one mana 1/1s, but they're human soldiers, and I think that's the point of this card, right? They are garbage, but if you have a lot of human and or soldier boons, you might want to play that. Let's see. I don't care about really like any of these cards, so I'm not talking about them. Frenzied Raptors reprint, right? From what's it? Yeah, that's what I thought. This art's better. Not because this art's bad. I love Jesper's art. This one looks a little bit more. For what's worth, this doesn't actually look like a raptor. Well, you know what? It has the hands right. The hand should be in more, not like down, because they wouldn't be able to do this. They'd be able to. I watch too much Discovery Channel. Shut up. So I'm just gonna look at talk about the land art real quick. This is great. This is great. This is amazing. Oh darn, we got some more cards. Did I talk about this card? I don't think so. 3. Well, I'm just gonna fucking do these because I want to talk about both of those. I need to fucking close these. Boop, there we go. Yorian Sky Nomad is a 3 Azorius Bird Serpent. I love this art. This art looks majestic as hell. Absolutely love it. Companion, a starting deck contains at least 20 cards, more than the minimum deck size. Is a 4/5 flyer. When enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So this is a big blink deck. However, this one cannot be played in Brawl. Cannot be played in Commander. Essentially, it cannot be played as a companion, I should say. in any format that has a deck maximum. Any format with a deck minimum, you can play. So if you're playing this in standard, you have to have at least an 80 card deck, which I guess is doable, but I feel like this reward is not worth it necessarily. For what it's worth, this card feels just fine in a Azorius Blink deck. Not as a companion, just as a part of the actual deck. You're already going to be playing things like Thassa, but the fact that this can return permanents that you own... Oh, wait. It says own and... Oh, I thought it said own or. Son of a bitch. All right, this card makes me a little bit more sad. So before, you would be able to... Before I realized I was stupid and wrong, you'd be able to like take back cards that your opponents had. So any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Yeah, that sucks. So one... Oh, man. Oh, Wizards, why? You made like such a cool card not cool. So if it worked the way I thought it did, which was or, you could choose things that you've stolen temporarily and make it not temporary because it returns it to the battlefield under your control. Oh, this doesn't... No, everything's bad about this card. I'm so sad. I mean, it's still fine. It's still fine. It still blinks things, right? It's still fine. Just not as good as I thought. Someone who wants to play a meme can try a Battle of Wits deck in whatever format Battle of Wits is legal in. Whatever. I'm sad. Shut up. Titan's Nest. 1 black, green, blue. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into the graveyard. Exile a card from your graveyard. Add colorless. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without Xing its mana cost. So when I first read this, I thought it was trash. Because I thought it said only a colored spell with Xing its mana cost. And I was like, oh, this is very narrow. But one, you don't even have to care about this part. Right? This is a bonus. Sometimes you just want every turn to put a card into your graveyard. This is decent for that. It is, a 4-mana enchantment. Could this have been a 3-mana enchantment? Not with this. With just this, yeah. But you can exile stuff from your graveyard that you just don't need. And you get to add some colorless mana to spend on colored spells. They had to say that because otherwise you could do really dumb shenanigans with artifacts. Probably not in standard, probably not in historic, but you can do shenanigans with things like artifacts. This essentially just gives all of your stuff Delve. All of your colored spells essentially have Delve when this is out. And Delve is a great mechanic. So when I say great, I'm not making a judgment on how like interesting or whatever it is. Great as in typically strong. Let's see. There's this weird monkey that has a mustache and is also a porcupine. I don't know why it doesn't say monkey beast because it kind of like is a porcupine as well. But whatever. This thing just looks cash as hell. Oh my god, more lands. Best Evolving Wilds art. So we got the OG, right? The OG is fine. Iconic Masters is great. I think, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize there were so many different arts of Evolving Wilds. Where have I been? So we have OG art, right? OG art. It's whatevs. OG art. We got this art. This art's great. Sam Burley does fantastic art for things, but it's fine. Evolving Wilds on Innistrad doesn't feel like an Evolving Wilds. For what it's worth, this one kind of doesn't to me either. It looks like the trees are maybe stitching together. This looks like Evolving Wilds, right? This looks like shit's hitting the fan. Okay, this just looks like vines are taking over a church. Meh. This, once again, Evolving Wilds. It looks damn good. You got like a mixture of most of the basic lands. This one also looks evolving. I don't like the content as much. I still think that it's good. It's good art, but I don't like the actual content of it. Tarkir, it doesn't feel great here. This art, fantastic. Mostly because I'm an Eldrazi stan, so it is what it is. But the fact that this is like an ocean here, like you see, like this is like waves that have just been halted, and like these trees are growing up out of this the wake of Ulamog. Insane. Then of course we have Amonkhet. This is just a Dust Bowl. I love Amonkhet. This one's a little lackluster. Why am I talking about these cards? Because I fucking can, that's why. Then you have Ixalan. You have these nice little step things. They're cool, but very similar to, and I mean this one too, kind of. Very similar to the the Innistrad one, they don't feel like Evolving Wilds to me. This one, oh boy. This is a coast that is just getting magnified. I love it. For what it's worth, it doesn't actually look super evolving. It just looks dynamic as all hell, and I like it. Genesis Ultimatum. The last of the ultimatums. Green, green, blue, 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 red, red. Sorcery, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your hand. Exile Genesis Ultimatum. At its worst, at its absolute worst, this just says draw 5 cards. That is worse than the Jeskai one, because the Jeskai one draws 5 and does some other stuff. However, at its best, this is a 7 mana. You get 5 permanents on the battlefield. They could all be lands, which is not great. But they could all be insane bangers. I think of the new ones, this one probably, and I should just, as always, go straight to the ultimatums to check them out. I do believe that of the new ones, this is probably going to be the most variably powerful, right? I think that, technically speaking, this is the most consistently powerful. I think its floor is relatively high, but I do think its ceiling is relatively low. This thing's floor is pretty low, but I feel like, because of what you could have in your deck, it's relatively high. This one, like all of the rest of these, are very strong. This depends on situation a lot. This depends on situation a lot. This one is just deck building, like it's entirely deck building. So I like all of these, to be honest. I love all of the ultimatums except this one. If you look at Brilliant Ultimatum, it's very similar to this one, except your opponent separates those into 2 piles. You may play any number of cards from one of those piles. It's different enough. You can play non-lands, so you know what, that's fine. I think these are similar enough. Yeah, sure, whatever, it's fine, and you get to choose. Yeah, obviously this one's garbage. It's trash, and I hate it. This one is relatively weak. If this weren't here, this would probably be the weakest of the OG one. Strongest of the OG one is obviously this one. It's the only one that actually sees play. Probably followed by these two being kind of tied as just decent. This one is great, don't get me wrong, I play in my L, but it's whatever. This one, trash. Get the shit on my face. Some more lands. We have Eggs in the Jungle Hollow. This is horrifying to me. Scoured Barrens. What happened here? This does not look like Ikoria. Like, if you look at all of the other... What happened here? Weird. Because, like, the rest of Ikoria is, like, bright and, like, has a lot of stuff going on. There's not even crystals in here. I mean, they're not crystals here either, but, like, there's stuff going on. I'm guessing that this used to be, like, part of a civilization that just got raised with a Z. Or, excuse me, a Z. Amazing art. I love crystals, so I really... I don't believe in crystal nonsense. I just like fucking cool, pretty rocks. I have an Instagram full of flowers. The only accounts that I really follow on there: flowers, minerals. That's it. That's what I like looking at. So it's what I follow. All of these arts look really nice. How do I? Okay, cool. I was not lying. I just like crystals, man. That's fluorite and quartz. Hell yeah. Spring Drought trap is hilarious. I love that it is literally like a trap. It has flash. It's like, wee, use it. It's funny. I think it's fine. These basics are dope. It looks like it's Jesper. Oh wait, am I wrong? Okay, so it looks like Elena and Jesper both had 1 art each, and then the third land was done by a different artist. That's what it looks like. I will say, these islands look amazing. These islands look amazing. Fuck, all these swamps are great. Yeah, all these ones are fantastic. Where's my other mountain? Thank you. I really like the Jesper Mountain here. This forest is top. So is this one. I like fucking trees with stuff on them, man. I talked about this card already. I think I talked about all of the rest of these cards. Yeah. Okay. So that's the set. I'm actually going to go ahead and just do. Nope. Yeah. This is what I wanted to do. I want to just scroll down. Scroll all the way down. So I'll just kind of scroll through these as I talk a little bit about some of the decks that I plan on making. I'm going to be part of the early access streamer event that is going to occur on the 15th, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, I believe that's going to occur on the 15th. I tweeted about it. Go to my Twitter. That is sponsored by Wizards of the Coast. They're giving me and a bunch of other creators fully stocked accounts just for the event. They don't give us fully stocked accounts in real life. That'd be great, but whatever. Where we'll be able to play with the new cards early and stuff. If you have a deck that is not something I've listed here, feel free to post about it in the comment section. But I want to give you all an idea of the decks I'm going to be working on. And if you have a build of one of these decks, feel free to let me know. Once again, you can put it into the comment section. If you are able to, put it in AetherHub. AetherHub is what I use for all of my deck lists. It is, for me, the easiest deck builder for me to actually like see and understand. It's nice on the eyes, essentially, is what I'm saying. So I'm just going to do one of these things. There we go. As I read through these. So I want to make a deck around all of the. This is actually probably slower than it could be. Cool. I want to make one deck for each of the apexes, like the main legendary creatures. 5 decks using the ultimatums, and for what it's worth, these decks can overlap, which means that, you know, maybe in one of the apex decks I'll actually use the ultimatum as well, and I'll count that as both. I'm gonna try and make a deck that uses the Ozolith. I just don't know if I'll actually be able to pull it off. Then I want to make a menace deck and a vigilance deck, because I do think that there are enough cards for those mechanic driven things that I can actually make decks out of them. Obviously I want to make a deck centered around mutate. I don't know if this will be 5-colored. I don't know if a certain color combination is going to be best for it, but I want to make a deck that focuses on mutating your creatures. I want to make a cycle deck, so a deck that just plans on cycling things, and this could be potentially mono red. I'm not sure, but red is definitely like the main color that I plan on using, because I want the enchantment, and I want the dinosaur turtle. Then I want to do a Mothra like sack card or sack deck, because Luminous Broodmoth, which is going by right now, is just pretty damn cool with sack outlets. So I want that. Obviously, I'm going to do an updated Nicol Bolas deck, both for historic and standard. There's Reanimator. Reanimator I feel like is there somewhere. I don't know what colors, but whatever. I feel like I might be able to do Giant Tribal, Phoenix Tribal, and Giant, Phoenix, Elemental, and Dinosaur Tribal. All of those seem possible, as well as humans. Humans was below it. Then a Luca Polymorph deck. Essentially, I'm playing a bunch of token creation and Luca, and I think there's a couple of other cards that do what I want, where I just play like big, dumb creatures. I polymorph into them using Luca's ability. Bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully my opponents are dead. And then I think the last one is, yeah, Jeskai non-creatures. So I want to use Narset and her Narset enchantment to do cool stuff with non-creatures. I did want to talk a little bit about a disappointment that I have. This isn't a real card. There is no Zilortha art, it seems. I thought they were going to show it to us, but it doesn't. I need to remember to tweet Wizards about this, or I could just ask someone at Discord. But it seems like there's no real card for this, and that's weird to me. In general, like, I'm fine with the whole Godzilla King of the Monsters stuff, but I don't like. I just fucking saw this shit again. I can't help it. It's so weird. Okay, but yeah, I don't understand what's up with this. Who cares though? I'm so excited for this new set. Seems like a lot of cool stuff is going to occur. Yada yada yada. I'd like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Zen, for the continued support. If you'd like to join them, support the show, find links to that down in the description. I do hope you've enjoyed the Ikoria set review, preview, spoiler season, whatever you'd like to call it. If you did, please tap that like button, add subscription to Mana Pool, cast a comment in the comment section down below, and until next time, I'll be one.